Look, fellas, if you're over 40 and you feel like your energy, your drive, and your edge have been quietly slipping away, there's a good chance you're making one small mistake every single day, and nobody ever warned you about it. I see men who eat clean, take the right supplements, even hit the gym, and still feel flat, tired, and older than they should. They assume it's just age doing its thing. But that assumption, that's the trap. Because there's one common ingredient sitting in kitchens all across America that can either work for you or slowly work against you, depending on how you use it. And most men are using it the wrong way without realizing the damage it's doing. Stay with me, because once you see this, you won't be able to unsee it, and it can change how you feel a lot faster than you think. I'm Dr. Rosalia Viterbo, and I've spent years working with men over 40 who feel like their bodies started changing overnight: lower energy, stubborn weight gain, weaker workouts, brain fog, and a drop in sexual performance that nobody warned them about. I specialize in men's hormones, metabolic health, and long-term vitality. And I help guys get their confidence and performance back without chasing fads or relying on quick fixes. I'm not here to scare you, and I'm not here to sell you hype. I'm here to translate what's actually happening inside your body as you age and show you practical, realistic ways to take control again, starting with things that are simple, affordable, and actually make sense. Here's what I'm going to break down for you today. First, I'll explain why this specific spice has such a powerful impact on men over 40, especially when it comes to inflammation, circulation, and hormone signaling. Then we'll talk about the biggest mistakes men make when they try to use it, because most guys either take too little, take it the wrong way, or expect it to work like a drug. I'll also walk you through how this spice affects energy, joints, heart health, and yes, sexual performance, in ways most doctors never explain. And make sure you stay with me until the end, because I'm going to show you how one simple tweak can dramatically increase its effectiveness. And that part alone could be the difference between this did nothing and wow, I actually feel a change. Before we get into the specifics, you need to understand why something this simple can have such a big impact, especially after 40. Because what's really going on here isn't about a spice. It's about aging biology and how the male body changes over time. Here's the part most men never get explained. After 40, your body slowly shifts into a more inflamed, less efficient state. Testosterone doesn't just drop. Your cells become less responsive to it. Blood vessels get stiffer. Insulin sensitivity declines. Recovery slows down. And your immune system stays slightly switched on all the time, like a car engine idling too high. That low-grade inflammation quietly drains energy, messes with hormones, and accelerates aging. Think of inflammation like rust. You don't notice it at first, but over years, it eats away at joints, arteries, nerves, and even hormone receptors. That's why a guy can be working just as hard as he did in his 30s and still feel worse. Same effort, less return. Now here's where men usually get it wrong. They think aging problems show up as one big event, a diagnosis, a prescription, a sudden crash. But that's not how it works. These issues sneak up on you through thousands of small daily signals: what you eat, how you recover, how your body handles stress, and whether your cells are getting support or constant irritation. And most men don't realize that digestion and nutrient absorption change with age too. You don't absorb compounds the way you used to. Your gut lining gets a little leakier. Your liver has more work to do. So even if you're eating healthy, you might not be getting the benefits you think you are. This is why targeted compounds that reduce inflammation, improve circulation, and support cellular signaling matter more now than they ever did before. Not because they're trendy, but because they address the actual bottlenecks inside the aging male body. That's also why this spice has survived for thousands of years in traditional medicine systems. Not because it's exotic, not because it's magic, but because it interacts with the body at the root level, calming inflammation, improving blood flow, and supporting how cells communicate. And when those systems start working better, men notice changes where it matters most: energy in the morning, less stiffness, clearer thinking, better workouts, and stronger sexual response. Not overnight, not like a pill, but steadily, the way real physiology changes. First, chronic inflammation is quietly draining your energy. Here's the issue. Most men over 40 are walking around with chronic, low-grade inflammation and don't even know it. No fever, no obvious pain, just fatigue, stiffness, brain fog, slower recovery, and that feeling like your body is always a half step behind. Inside the body, inflammation interferes with how your cells produce energy. Your mitochondria, basically the engines inside your cells, don't work as efficiently when inflammation is high. So you wake up tired, need more caffeine, and still hit a wall by mid-afternoon. This hits men over 40 harder because your natural anti-inflammatory defenses decline with age. Stress, poor sleep, processed foods, alcohol, all of that stacks up. Most men think, I just need more sleep, or I need a stronger pre-workout. But that's treating the symptom, not the cause. What actually works is lowering the inflammatory load, so your body can produce energy normally again. This spice helps calm inflammatory pathways at the cellular level, which means your body isn't constantly fighting itself. That's why guys tell me they don't feel stimulated, they just feel more normal again. And that's exactly what you want. Second, blood flow changes more than men realize. Here's something nobody explains well. As you age, your blood vessels lose flexibility. They don't expand and contract the way they used to. That affects everything: heart health, endurance, brain function, and sexual performance. Reduced blood flow doesn't always show up as a diagnosis. It shows up as colder hands and feet, weaker pumps at the gym, slower mental sharpness, and less reliable erections. Most men think this is just circulation getting worse and assume it's inevitable. It's not. This spice supports nitric oxide signaling and endothelial function, basically helping blood vessels relax and open when they're supposed to. That improves oxygen and nutrient delivery everywhere. And here's the key point. Better blood flow doesn't just help one system, it helps all of them at once. Energy, workouts, heart health, and sexual response all improve together. Third, hormones don't work in isolation. A lot of guys obsess over testosterone numbers, and I get it, testosterone matters. But here's the truth. Hormones don't work well in an inflamed environment. If inflammation is high, your hormone receptors don't respond properly. That means even normal testosterone levels may not feel normal. This is why some men go on testosterone therapy and still feel underwhelmed. The signal is there, but the body can't hear it clearly. This spice helps by reducing inflammatory interference and oxidative stress, allowing hormones to communicate more effectively with tissues. Most men think hormones are like a volume knob. Turn it up, problem solved. In reality, it's more like a radio signal. If there's too much static, turning up the volume doesn't fix the distortion. Clear the static first, then everything works better. Fourth, joint pain and stiffness are early warning signs. Aches, stiffness, and joint pain aren't just wear and tear. They're often signs of ongoing inflammation. Men over 40 commonly wake up stiff, need longer warm-ups, and recover slower after workouts or long days on their feet. Most guys reach for painkillers and just push through it. That may mask pain, but it doesn't support healing. This spice helps regulate inflammatory enzymes that drive joint irritation. That means less stiffness, better mobility, and faster recovery, without shutting down the body's natural repair process. I've had patients tell me they didn't realize how much discomfort they were tolerating until it slowly faded away. Fifth, metabolism slows when inflammation is high. Here's a frustrating one: belly fat that shows up out of nowhere. Inflammation interferes with insulin sensitivity, which means your body has a harder time managing blood sugar and storing fat appropriately. Men think they need to slash calories or do more cardio, but if inflammation is driving metabolic dysfunction, those strategies often backfire. This spice supports insulin signaling and metabolic flexibility, helping the body process carbs and fats more efficiently. That's why some men notice their waistline stabilizing without drastic diet changes, not because it's a fat burner, but because it helps restore normal metabolic communication. Sixth, brain fog is a physical issue, not a motivation problem. Difficulty focusing, slower recall, mental fatigue, that's not laziness, and it's not just stress. Inflammation affects the brain too. It disrupts neurotransmitter balance and blood flow to neural tissue. Men often tell me, "I just don't feel as sharp as I used to," and they assume that's permanent. This spice supports neuroinflammation control and cerebral circulation, which helps the brain function more efficiently. The result isn't hyperfocus, it's clarity. You feel present again. Seventh, consistency beats intensity. Here's the final and most important point. This only works when used consistently and correctly. Most men try something for 2 weeks, don't feel fireworks, and quit. That's not how physiology works. This spice works by gently shifting internal processes over time. Lower inflammation, better signaling, improved circulation. Think of it like fixing the foundation of a house. You don't see the change immediately, but everything above it becomes more stable. And that's why men who stick with it notice cumulative benefits that actually last. A while back, I worked with a 56-year-old guy, I'll call him Mark. Married, 2 kids, full-time job, not lazy, not out of shape, but definitely not feeling like himself anymore. He told me, "Doc, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I work out 3 times a week. I don't eat terribly, but I'm tired all the time. My joints hurt. My sex drive is inconsistent. And mentally, I just feel dull." On paper, his labs weren't terrible. Testosterone was technically in range. Cholesterol was okay. Nothing screamed emergency. And that's exactly why he was frustrated, because he felt bad, but couldn't point to one big problem. When we dug deeper, the pattern was obvious. High stress, poor sleep quality, low-grade inflammation markers elevated, digestive issues he thought were normal aging. His body was stuck in a constant low-level fight mode. We didn't do anything extreme, no crazy supplements, no drastic diets. One of the first changes I made was adding this spice strategically, daily, in a way his body could actually absorb, along with a few basic lifestyle adjustments, nothing dramatic. Over the next several weeks, he started noticing small shifts. Less stiffness in the morning, better energy by mid-morning, instead of dragging until noon. Workouts felt smoother, his focus improved. Then, without him even tracking it, his sexual performance became more consistent, not forced, not scheduled, just more natural again. The big lesson here isn't that one spice fixed him. It's that when you reduce inflammation and improve internal communication, the body often knows exactly what to do. Mark didn't need to become someone new. He just needed to get his body out of its own way. And that's the takeaway I want you to remember. Feeling better doesn't always require extreme measures. Sometimes it's about removing the friction that's been building up for years. First myth: if it's a spice, it must be weak. This belief exists because we're used to thinking in terms of drugs, strong effect, fast result. So when something comes from food, men assume it can't possibly matter. That's backwards. Many of the most powerful biological compounds we know came from plants. The difference is they work with the body instead of overriding it. This spice doesn't force a response. It supports normal physiology. The harm in this myth is that men dismiss consistent, low-risk tools and jump straight to aggressive interventions, often before they're necessary. The truth is, small daily inputs applied over time can produce bigger, more sustainable changes than short-term intensity. Second myth: if I don't feel it immediately, it's not working. This one is huge. Men are conditioned to expect instant feedback. Energy drinks, painkillers, stimulants. You feel something fast, so you assume it's effective. But inflammation reduction and cellular repair don't feel dramatic. They feel gradual. This myth causes men to quit too early. They stop right before benefits compound. The truth is, when the body shifts toward better balance, you don't feel amped. You feel steady. You realize you're less tired, less stiff, more focused, and that's when it hits you that something is actually working. Third myth: I just need to raise my testosterone. Testosterone is important, but it's not the whole story. This myth exists because hormone numbers are easy to measure and market. The problem is, hormones don't work well in a toxic, inflamed environment. You can raise levels and still feel off if the system receiving the signal is dysfunctional. This spice doesn't raise testosterone directly. What it does is improve the environment. Testosterone operates in circulation, inflammation control, receptor responsiveness. The truth is, optimize the terrain first. Then hormones do their job more effectively. First, as men get over 40, low-grade inflammation quietly increases and drains energy, recovery, focus, and performance. Second, blood flow declines in subtle ways that affect everything from workouts to brain function to sexual health. Third, hormones like testosterone don't work properly when inflammation and oxidative stress are high, even if your numbers look normal. Fourth, joint pain and stiffness aren't just wear and tear, they're early warning signs of deeper inflammatory issues. Fifth, metabolism slows when insulin signaling is disrupted, which is why belly fat shows up even when habits haven't changed much. Sixth, brain fog is a physical, biological problem, not a motivation issue. And finally, consistency matters more than intensity. This spice works by gradually restoring balance, not by forcing short-term results. If you're a man over 40 and you want to start taking control of your energy, hormones, and long-term health the right way, do me a favor right now. Hit the like button so this message reaches more guys who need it, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss upcoming videos, because we go deep on this stuff in a way most places don't. I also want you to drop a comment below and tell me this: what's the one issue that's been bothering you the most lately? Energy, belly fat, joint pain, focus, or sexual performance? I read those, and they help shape future videos. And if you want my free guide for men over 40 that breaks down simple, doctor-approved steps to support hormones, circulation, and daily energy, check the link in the description and grab it. No fluff, no hype, just practical guidance you can actually use starting today. If you're a man over 40 and you're serious about feeling better, not just watching videos and hoping things improve, now's the time to take action. Go ahead and hit the like button so this reaches more men who are struggling silently with the same issues. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel because everything I post here is designed to help you reclaim your energy, confidence, and performance in a smart, sustainable way. I also want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me the one thing that's been bothering you the most lately. Low energy, weight gain around the belly, joint pain, brain fog, or sexual performance. I read those comments and they directly influence what I cover next. And if you're ready to take the next step, I've put a free guide for men over 40 in the description below. It walks you through simple, doctor-approved strategies to support hormones, circulation, and long-term vitality without extremes or gimmicks. Grab it, start applying it, and let's get you moving in the right direction. Before you go, I want you to remember this: you're not weak, you're not broken, and you're not failing at aging. What you're experiencing is a normal physiological shift that most men were never taught how to manage. And the good news is, once you understand your body, you can absolutely work with it and feel strong again. I'm Dr. Rosalia Viterbo, and my goal is to help you stay sharp, energized, and confident for the long run. Take care of yourself, stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next video.